Hi, this is Charlie Mato-Toyela with Blue Bear Flutes, and of course my website bluebearflutes.com. If you wonder why it is that I always say bluebearflutes.com during a video, there's more than one reason. Of course, it's not only so that the YouTube counter and the algorithms and the little spiders and robots and everything that's on the internet today counts how many times I say bluebearflutes.com. But it also is for those who ask me, where can I find your flutes? It's on bluebearflutes.com. I have a bigger problem today, I think, with people on TikTok and Instagram finding our flutes than I do on the YouTube channel. Most people now see them on the YouTube channel at the bottom there, and it says, buy this one, this one, this one, and this one. And that's great, but you find a bigger variety by going straight to my website, so FYI. But in any case, today's video is about something that is near and dear to me that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I think I've just put it off. At this particular point in my flute making experience, I've been doing it for about 38 years, give or take, and in that amount of time, I have made countless friends who were professional musicians. I mean, I'm not discrediting my own musical career, if you would, but you know, I've recorded 9 albums of my music, and I'm working on a couple of new ones. But you know, I've got countless friends who played with this band, with that band, currently play with this band or that band, or they are this band or that band, or they're just individuals that have a Native American flute album somewhere. There's countless. I cannot tell you enough. Countless is the word I'm looking at. Now, there's a lot of them that stand out. Some of them that are kind of, I don't know, politically correct. I'm trying to say something polite at the same time, but kind of, they're comical. Not saying their flute playing's bad, it's not. It's just the whole premise of how they do things. And then there are amazing ones. Oh my gosh, my friend Cody from Crown Lands, I'm hoping to do an interview with him, but if you haven't seen them, go check them out. Crown Lands music, just amazing people. Just their music is, I can't believe that they, you know, Cody even speaks to me on the phone. Just a great musician. Met them at a concert that we bought tickets to in one state, and then eventually we got to meet them in person in another state, literally all the way across the country, that we went to go see their concert at, and it was just unbelievable. So anyway, we'll have a video about that, and we'll talk about that kind of thing here soon. But in any case, in all this time of me playing the Native American flute, I prefer one type of flute, and in the last almost 30 years, I've been selling something else. And when I say something else, I don't mean that I don't like what it is that I sell. I love the flutes we make today. It's my life. However, in the early days of Blue Bear Flutes, I did not tune our flutes to European scales. And for those of you scratching your head and wondering what's going on and how it is that could be, I've got an example of it in front of me. I'm about to show you, so I keep looking at it. But in any case, I didn't tune our flutes to European scales. I'd make one this size and it would produce this tone, or I'd make it this size and it'd produce that tone. And if somebody said, I want a flute, but I want it to be a really low tone, I'd make that, but I didn't necessarily tune it to a specific scale. And once again, for those musicians out there that are professionals or that have been college taught or what have you, I know you're scratching your head wondering what the heck is this guy talking about, but this is what it's about. And I'm sharing this with you guys, and I'm going to try to remember to do this on a regular occasion if it's not obvious. I'm sharing this with you guys as not only flute players, for those of you out there that are interested in playing the Native American flute, but also flute makers. So this is kind of a making and playing type video. But the reason that I want to share it with you in that particular way, and I want to remember to tell you when it's not so obvious, is because there are flute makers that watch my videos, and there are flute players that watch my videos, and just a lot of random everything in between. But that's the two groups of people that I try to make these videos for. today, or for people who have never seen or played a Native American flute, or they're new to it and want to learn more about it. So, in any case, let me stop right there and ask you a question. Do you think that historically, the people that originally made what we call a Native American flute today, do you think they tuned their flutes to a scale? Okay, I'm going to give you just a few seconds to think about that. Pythagoras, a Greek, was the father of modern scales today, and modern music today. This baby grand piano that I have over here on my side is tuned based on what Pythagoras laid out for us. I've got a lot of flutes that are tuned that way also. And of course, I've played countless other instruments, and I've minorly, I guess, educated as far as music goes, majorly educated on my own studies, but I went to school a little bit. I did that kind of thing for a while. But all that aside, Pythagoras is the dude who laid out A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? Or any of you out there that are so happy with the whole do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do thing. Pythagoras was the one that came up with that notion, and that scales should be this long, and that the notes should be this long, and then 1.5 size is this much, and then twice the size is this much, and then so on and so on and so on. It's a great Daffy Duck cartoon that I'm thinking about right now, which is where I learned all this from. But in any case, that particular kind of tuning is how we make instruments today for people that play music with a lot of other folks. And historically, Native American flutes weren't made that way. We didn't have tuners. There's never been a tuner found. And this is why I'm such a staunch, I guess I'm always in combat, I guess I would, with the notion of 432 hertz, especially, you guys that are onto that, I have no problem with you. Go ahead. If it works for you, I'm 100% that way. However, when somebody says 432 hertz is the tone of nature and, the intonation of nature, and that's how Native American flutes were originally tuned, no. I'm sorry, I have to stop right there and say something. So, in any case, we didn't tune anything to a modern scale. Did that mean that historically our flutes sounded kind of bad? No. No, as a matter of fact, this beautiful about 35-year-old flute I have in front of me that I made forever and a day ago is a copy of a historic flute that a friend of my cousins had brought down from North Carolina, and we had an opportunity to copy it. And he copied it and may or may not have liked it because it's a kind of a higher tone flute, and I love it. It means the world to me. As a matter of fact, this flute, in some ways, I could say, is the last flute that I didn't tune to a European scale. We did offer traditionally tuned flutes for a while. We call them traditionally tuned. And people say, well, what are traditionally tuned? Is it tuned to A, G, whatever? Because they want to know what is the traditional scale. And I'm not doing my air quotes here just for sake of not doing them, because I need to get out of that habit. But it's really, what is a traditional scale? There's no such thing. Our flutes, Native American flutes, historically made by Native Americans, Columbus and before, were relatively high-toned, medium to high-toned. And they were small, made out of materials that we had on hand. And they really sounded amazing. As a matter of fact, and I want you to stop and think about this one more time, if you're interested in the sound of a Native American flute, and I'm saying that, breaking those syllables up because I want you to think about each and every word, then what you are interested in is really a historic Native American flute, a Native American flute. Now, I'm not talking about whatever you post-colonists out there that are trying to think, well, I'm a Native American because my family's from here, because I was born in XYZ state. Now, I'm talking about indigenous peoples of the Americas before Europeans came over, okay, historically anyway, because of course we could get on that topic and go a long ways. But this flute here, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you, is one of my favorite. I rarely play it because I want to make sure it stays good for a long time. It's made out of a piece of river cane that I collected in Louisiana because I love this beautiful piece of river cane. It's about, I would say about 5/8 of an inch in diameter. I can only stick my finger in it so far. There are tuning holes down here, and if you notice I have a piece of leather covering them a little bit because this flute was originally, the bottom note was originally a little sharp, and in order to get it to play where my hearing is not a problem with it, that I guess I have the whole scale in mind when I'm hearing it, even though, once again, we're not talking about an actual tuned flute. I want to be able to hear this note be where it's at versus the others where they're at. Anyway, I'm hearing Chief Bobby Johns in my head again. If y'all haven't seen me talk about him, he used to say, "Shut up and play the flute, Charlie." But really a great guy and inspired me. And that's something, I'm going to have a video on that actually. I've been thinking about it for some time to help those of you who are concerned about the flute, its key, what you're doing, and whatever. We're going to have a video about that. It's probably going to be titled "Shut Up and Play the Flute." But here's this one here. I'm going to be quiet for just a minute. A beautiful sounding instrument. I really love this flute. I can't say enough about it. The mouthpiece is crazy long, which is unique looking today. It does have the tuning holes. I have a video about that if you haven't heard me talk about that. So it's got an extra about 3 inches down here at the bottom that doesn't really have to be there, but it does something for the flute, especially when I'm playing into a microphone and I'm recording it and what have you. It's just unbelievable. And for those of you who are thinking, oh, okay, well, I'll ask them to put tuning holes on my flute. No, we have things set up a certain way today, and things are a certain way because that's what it takes for us to keep caught up with orders, really. But in any case, this flute sound is something you may have been able to hear a couple hundred years ago. Really is something else. I love it. Like I say, a beautiful flute. And it is not specifically tuned. It is very close to the key of high B, which we offer a flute currently on our website called the Old Style Flute, which is in the key of high B. This flute is the one that helped me create all of the other flutes on our website, except for the 2 6-holes that I currently offer and any 4-hole flutes. Although honestly, it was there when that was happening. But this flute is the flute that I used personally when I graduated my fingering patterns to fit different size, diameter, and length tubes. And what that means is about, I don't know, roughly 20 years ago, I had a lot of people saying, well, I really need, I love the sound of your flutes. They're amazing. I love it, but I need a flute in the key of G minor. And of course, this isn't a minor scale, by the way. It is a minor scale. So, but it's a rudimentary minor scale. In other words, if we look at it on the tuner, it might be, I don't know, like a 462A or something like that in the key of high B. It might even be a B sharp, just a little bit. But, its particular scale is a little questionable. I don't remember if I've ever even looked at it to care, but and I say to care, I mean to care what scale it's in. But I used this flute's fingering patterns to design all of the other flutes we have today. Everything from the highest A that we have, which is our Cherokee Little People flute, which is a flute designed based on historical stories of Cherokee Little People. It's actually close to the key of high A. Everything lower than that, all the way down to our low bass A flute that we currently offer today, which you may have seen before. If you haven't, check out our videos on it. It has a mouthpiece in the back. You play it like a saxophone. There's 2 fingerings in the back for your thumb because they're so spaced apart, and there's 3 fingerings in the front for your other fingers, so that you can play this flute because it is made way bigger than historical flutes. But they're all based on this 5-hole flute. My 2 6-hole flutes are based on 2 historic 6-hole, well, 1 historic 6-hole flute, and it's more or less made in a slightly larger pattern that allows it to be a G. So I have an A and a G historic 6-hole flute. Maybe another day I'll do another video on those because they're amazing and not like the 6-hole flutes. I can't say this enough. Anytime somebody calls me and we have a conversation about 6-hole flutes, I can't tell you enough about how these copies of historic 6-hole flutes are so different than the modern ones that you have today, that you have to keep your finger covering that 3rd hole. I mean, that's just not... why would a race of people not wasting a single piece of buffalo, you know, which isn't true. We wasted a lot of buffalo, but why would they drill that extra hole? That's amazing. That's just ludicrous. That's because historically that hole was there, but the size of the flute was different, which made the flute play in tune, and you use that fingering, not like today where it's a half-step note. In any case, I don't want to get off on that tangent. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Once again, the sound of a historically tuned flute does not mean it's in a historical scale, because we didn't have a historical scale. Although, and I could be wrong about that. Maybe somebody will find a digital tuner that's buried in some Peruvian king's tomb somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised, but I think most of that stuff degraded over the thousands of years since we landed here. Just kidding with you. But anyway, you know, it's got to make you think. You know, we didn't have a way that we normally tuned instruments, and that's why they were tuned by ear and not to a specific scale, because we didn't know Pythagoras. We didn't have his, you know, information and what have you. And yes, native people were incredibly technologically advanced in ways that I've never had the opportunity to discuss on this channel, and I won't be discussing it on probably any future ones. But you know, the information's out there. You're probably not going to find it. Were we advanced? More than you could dream. But we didn't use tuners to tune our flutes or our drums. It just didn't happen. Did we tune it to the earth? How are you going to do that? That's a wonderful dream, you know. Oh gosh, so many politically incorrect ideas running through my head. It's a wonderful dream. Let me just say that. I'm thinking of Epsilon from you know, a caterpillar from beyond the looking glass. But no, we didn't tune flutes historically. I do it today because, you know, we have a lot of musicians playing our instruments, and they want to. Yeah, y'all think about Epsilon for a minute. What was he doing? Native Americans didn't do that. We could talk about that, not today. Ask a question about it in the comments, please. But in any case, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful sounding flute. Probably going to record it some more in the very near future. But like I say, something that was made historically does not mean that it was in a specific key. And historically, we did not tune our flutes necessarily to European scales. Maybe once in a while we got lucky and it turned out that way. And I say lucky, but I mean a little happenstance, one of my friends says. I hope he's still on the channel. He used to say happenstance all the time, and I love that. But in any case, you guys take care. Charlie Mato-Toyela signing out for Blue Bear Flutes and BlueBearFlutes.com. I'll see you again very soon.